We have reporters and analysts in place nationwide covering all of these new and developing storylines. Let's go to MS Now's Laura Hafley from St. Paul, Minnesota, where the crowds are preparing to march to the state capitol. Laura, welcome. And we know organizers and the police both expect a massive turnout there. What are you seeing and hearing from the protesters right now?
Yeah, Alex, that's right. What we're expecting from No Kings, what they have told us is anywhere between 80,000 to 150,000 people here in St. Paul. We're at just one of the marches that will start this morning or this afternoon even, heading to the Capitol grounds where there will eventually be a rally. We're in a sculpture park in St. Paul, and look at all of these signs. You see one of these sculptures with a banner, No Kings, plastered across it. People here of all ages. We know that there's a gathering happening over my shoulder here, a big crowd huddled in a circle. They're chanting, they're singing. And again, this is just one of three marches, all going to converge on the Capitol. So this gives you just a little bit of an idea of how many people we're going to see. I've spoken to people here in St. Paul about what this protest means, being the flagship protest, obviously because of what has transpired here over the last few months. They had a lot of really powerful things to say about themselves and their neighbors. Take a listen.
Showing our strength against the Trump regime, and that we're willing to get out here in any kind of weather to protest.
I think it's because of the resistance that we showed over the past winter and how we stood up nonviolently to a violent regime.
It does my soul really good to see all the other people that feel the same way and are here to be together and show the administration that we are together. My husband and I came from Indianapolis because we had seen all the protests in Minneapolis and how much it meant to all of our friends and neighbors and immigrants, and we wanted to be part of it.
We know once the rally begins on Capitol grounds in St. Paul, there are several speakers expected, including Governor Walz, Representative Ilhan Omar. There's performances, including by Bruce Springsteen, who will be performing Streets of Minneapolis, a song he wrote after, of course, writing Streets of Philadelphia. So this crowd has a lot to look forward to. And Alex, what I'm expecting to see today is a group of neighbors that really is going to experience a lot of catharsis. There's been a very frustrating few months for this group. And of course, I think they're hoping today brings the community together and lends itself well to a positive path forward. Alex.
Yeah. And Laura, let me just double check where these performances, and again, you have so many notable figures. You mentioned lawmakers, leadership that way. But yeah, Bruce Springsteen, Jane Fonda, Joan Baez, people that have been activists like all their lives, and that's partly what they are known for. Is it the kind of thing that will be kicking off this march? Will they be marching with the protesters behind you, or will they all converge on the state capitol?
Yeah, Alex, this is a really organized day today because what No Kings has been working on leading up to this moment. So there are three different marches happening around St. Paul. Each of those marches about a half a mile away from the Capitol grounds. Once everybody reaches the Capitol, there's a big stage set up where those speakers will talk to the crowd and those performances will take place. So the fact of the matter is this has to be really organized because of the sheer amount of people they're expecting. There's a large police presence, plenty of security. So again, for both the protesters and the people who are going to be up on stage just a short while from now. Alex.
Okay. We'll be checking back in with you throughout the day, my friend. Thank you, Laura Hafley. MS Now reporter Jake Traylor is joining us from West Palm Beach, Florida, right near Mar-a-Lago, where, of course, President Trump is spending his weekend. Jake, welcome to you. And organizers expect, what, about 10,000 people there today? What have you seen so far?
Yeah, Alex, that's right. Look, as you've already seen, there are millions of people protesting in some of the biggest cities in the country today, in New York, LA, Chicago. Every single person that protests here, though, carries a bit more different weight because we are a couple things. One, we're a couple miles away from where Donald Trump is golfing right now. We're also a couple miles away from his Mar-a-Lago residence where he is staying this weekend. And the folks here have noted how significant that feels. So we spoke with a couple of different White House officials earlier today to get their sentiment about what's happening inside Mar-a-Lago as we see millions of people protest across the street. And as we talk about it, we'll kind of walk through and see some of those folks. The White House officials I spoke to told me that ultimately they're not concerned about the protesters. They're not concerned about what's happening here today. One White House official told me that actually it's only the reporters who care about what's happening here. But that is an extreme juxtaposition to the already thousands of people that we've seen protesting down the road from Mar-a-Lago, because they say things to me like, we've seen how protests can change the way that policy happens. We've seen that happen in Minneapolis. I spoke with one individual who said, I actually don't care if Donald Trump himself watches the protests or not today. I know that this is going to have a significant impact on the people around Donald Trump that help make change happen. Take a listen to that conversation. What is the message you hope that Trump or some of his folks around him hear from what is happening today in these protests?
Well, you're right to some of the folks around him because he doesn't get any messages. They keep things from him, I believe. So he's not going to see pictures of these crowds, but his sycophants will be seeing them, and some of them are in Congress, and hopefully they're starting to shake a little bit in their boots.
Now, Alex, you may be seeing that around me, the crowd is... Alex, right now, the crowd is beginning to disperse right now. That is because there were definitely thousands of individuals here gathered earlier today, peacefully protesting, telling us how much they want their voice to be heard to make it all the way to Mar-a-Lago. But they're actually not stopping here. They're taking like a brief break. Then they are gathering at a different location, and they're actually going to safely and peacefully and legally, I'll add, march to the Mar-a-Lago residents outside of that area. They say they want their voices to be heard all the way to the doorstep of Donald Trump's, where he will be this evening. No public events planned. We expect him to be home at Mar-a-Lago, saying that he's not watching, but from the folks that I'm talking to, very likely hearing the loud voices that are protesting across the country today. Alex?
I was going to say he might be hearing the voices of those protesting outside of Mar-a-Lago as well. Okay, Jake Traylor, we'll be checking in with you again periodically. Thank you. Let's head to MS Now national reporter Rosa Flores in Austin, Texas. So, Rosa, what are you seeing there in the Lone Star State?
Alex, welcome to No Kings in Austin, Texas. I want to show you around. Look, we even have Bubbles, the magic of the Lone Star State. Take a look at all of the tents out here. There are more than 80 organizations that are on the grounds. The protesters are still making their way here. But here's the thing about this particular protest, why you see all these tents. Because the protest and the movement doesn't start and end today with No Kings. This is about, and this is according to the organizers, this is about getting more people involved civically so that they can do more tomorrow, so that they can vote in November. I've talked to a lot of the protesters that have been here already. There's a few of them. A lot of them are organizers. And they say that there are just so many things that are wrong with our country right now. They listed many of them. ICE in communities and how they're treating people in communities, the Supreme Court, the war in Iran, gas prices, you name it. Some of them became emotional. Take a listen.
It's important that other people know that we're all together, we're all human beings, and oh my gosh, you know, what's happening in the world is horrible. And it's all because of one guy who has a stupid ego and thinks he's above everyone else. And I don't think that's cool.
I can feel your emotion. Tell me about
it is.
that.
I mean, it's just, I just, you know, I'm sitting at home and I'm going, I got to do something. I got to do something, you know. So, you know, I got some friends who are going to be here later, you know, but it doesn't just, it hurts your heart because I love people and I don't want to see other people hurt.
Alex, I want to introduce you to the Raging Grannies from Austin. They're going to be performing for us. And so, Grannies, take it away.
We are resistance grannies. We run off their panties. We may feel scared or they disappear, but we must fight to make it right. Take a page from labor history. Winning is no mystery. When all of us are on the bus, tyrants have no
for you? Because the organizers told me that they are going to have an ice sculpture out here. We don't see it yet. That is going to be melting during No Kings. Do you have any idea as to what that ice sculpture will be, Alex?
Let's see. Donald Trump?
This is what we call a tease in TV. Hopefully, I will be able to show it to you when I see you next.
All right. We are going to stay tuned for that. Thank you for that deep tease. Appreciate it. Rosa Flores and, of course, those Austin Raging Grannies. They're great.